Mark Copani, who is actually of Italian descent. He was cast as a wrestler of Jordanian-Palestinian descent who had set out in WWE to eradicate the prejudice placed upon Arab Americans following 9/11.
I blame Vince McMahon always trying to get people over with the foreign gimmick.
Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up?
Yo, what up? It's Ahmad J back here with another video. Today we're going to be reacting to a video by WrestleMania. The video is going to be on 10 WWE wrestlers who never reached their full potential by a bad booking. I guess when we get into this talk, it's definitely going to be about bad booking since it's mentioned in the title. We can't just bring up any other subjects of like why they failed. But this is particularly toward probably WWE creative in how WWE treated a talent. But like, hey man, we've been pushing these WWE videos, well, WWE reaction videos out, and I mean they've been doing pretty good. So I will always continue to do some WWE videos. I love WWE. But yeah, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe on this video if you've been enjoying this. But let's get into it, man.
This 10, Shinsuke Nakamura. There was major buzz in early 2016, with rumors floating around of AJ Styles, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows all making the jump from New Japan to WWE. There was substantial buzz, however, with the added rumor that Shinsuke Nakamura was also swapping Tokyo for Stamford. Confirmed that January to be joining NXT, Nakamura had an electric arrival. He debuted during NXT TakeOver Dallas over WrestleMania 32 weekend, defeating
Bro, he has so much like aura just coming off, like, you know, just them giving him like a big ass like signing, like filming that whole thing. You would have thought he would have been like doing way better than he is right now, bro. I mean, like I said, I get the age thing, but like niggas like CM Punk are being pushed, niggas like a whole bunch of people are being pushed right now. They are at the age of like 35 and to the 45 range. They're just getting pushed out the damn wazoo right now. But I get like everybody can't get pushed in a sense, but like Shinsuke Nakamura deserved way better. And I think what happened like back in like 2017, I think it was 2017 or no 2019. He won the 2019 Royal Rumble, and they just, oh my god, he just kept giving AJ so many nut shots, dude.
beating Sami Zayn in one of the era's defining matches, and he was instantly the most popular act on the Black and Gold brand, thanks to his, well, catchy entrance music. The success followed the King of Strong style throughout his entire year-long stint on the Black and Gold brand and onto the main roster the following April, but things quickly fell off a cliff once he started a main event push. A victory in the Royal Rumble match in 2018 resulted in Shinsuke being set for a battle with AJ Styles at WrestleMania 34, which fans expected would be of a similar quality to the epic Wrestle Kingdom clash from 2016. Well, it wasn't, obviously, and it was actually one of the most disappointing matches of all time. From there, Nakamura lost the feud to Styles, which involved a lot of his hits below the belt. He was regulated to enhancement status. He receives the occasional glimmer of hope, such as his underrated 2023 World Heavyweight title program versus Seth Rollins, but any potential success on the main roster was rendered dead when he lost consecutive pay-per-view matches to Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, losing to Jinder Mahal at any point could hurt a superstar's career. Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't hurt Randy's career when he lost that. They took a real big shot in the dark at making Jinder Mahal champion and, you know, letting him go over Randy with like a clean victory. Actually, he hit his finisher and won. Like, nigga, I was surprised by that. No hate towards Jinder, but like, it's crazy that they like made him go over Shinsuke and fed him as talent.
Number 9, Finn Balor. Similar in a sense to ex-New Japan colleague Shinsuke Nakamura, in that his 2014 move to WWE was among the most buzzworthy stories of the year, Finn Balor very nearly could have missed out on placement on lists such as this had it not been for his ill-fated injury at SummerSlam 2016. Having become one of the most crucial faces of NXT's Black and Gold era, Finn was drafted to Raw during the 2016 brand split as a first-round pick, being selected ahead of Roman Reigns, John Cena and Brock Lesnar. From there, he even defeated Roman Reigns to secure himself a match against Seth Rollins to determine the inaugural.
And I'm not gonna cap, for this time, that is so crazy. This was a time of when Vince McMahon was literally dick riding the hell out of the Roman train, bro. I'm surprised he literally just like let Finn go over, bro. And Finn actually won this, but injury bug.
Universal Champion. Everything couldn't have gone any smoother, which is why that shoulder injury was such a saddening blow. A torn labrum sidelined Balor until the Raw after WrestleMania 33. By the time he returned, WWE had already moved past its desire to position the Irishman as a main event player, as was proven by the fact that he was losing to Kane, a part-timer, by the end of 2017.
Yeah.
Like Shinsuke, Finn has received the odd push here and there, has held the United States, Intercontinental, and Tag Team titles, and even returned to NXT for a second NXT Championship winning run, but he's never managed to regain the spot he held before SummerSlam 2016. Number 8.
I'm not gonna cap. I feel like Finn is just worthy of being WWE champion or even the world heavyweight champion, because like I get he got like a lot of like championship victories as pointed out right here with the US title and like multiple tag team runs, but like I just feel personally he's just underrated and he just needs to get back in that spot. I wish Triple H would realize that, but like there's just like so many WWE like superstars in the fold right now that want to be champion or are being pushed to be champion, but like I think they just didn't like go good by Finn in these last couple of years.
Vader. It wasn't entirely surprising that Vader went down as one of the biggest flops in WWE history, as despite being one of WCW's greatest stars, it had become obvious that Vince McMahon only signed his competition's biggest attractions to dig their careers into the ground. Depressingly, this wasn't the only reason for Vader's WWE career being as mediocre as it was, as the most prolific cause was the actual wrath unleashed on him by Shawn Michaels at the 1996 SummerSlam pay-per-view. Challenging the Heartbreak Kid in the main event for the WWF Championship, Vader forgot to roll out of the way during a planned diving elbow drop, which infuriated Michaels to the point that he instead landed on his feet, stomped directly on Vader's face, and screamed obscenities at him live on pay-per-view. After this, Vader was never again viewed as a main eventer, with a planned title win at Survivor Series being given to Psycho Sid instead. Now, even though Shawn Michaels had taken liberties with Vader while live on air, Vince McMahon actually went against the Mastodon, with Jim Ross giving an insight into the dynamic.
That's fucking crazy, bro. He actually just took Shawn Michaels' side. One little mistake turned this into like a whole big thing backstage, and a man's career was just never looked upon the same. Like, you know how it's just like rare to come around like big men getting pushed. Well, no, not big man getting pushed, but like a high flyer that's a big man and that look like he can just do like multiple spots and you could actually go and not just like taking, you know, like the normal big man thing by just like throwing people out of the ring or something, like choke slamming, or they just can't move that well. Like Vader was one of those people that could just move well, and I'm just disappointed in like how like that he was treated, bro. They could have just like did something and like all would have been forgiven, but this was the 90s and this was back when Shawn Michaels was a fucking crazy person.
Dynamic between Michaels and McMahon on his Grill and JR podcast.
I just thought it was totally uncalled for. Shawn had the deck stacked, and because he had Vince in his back pocket. You know, Vince has often told me, you know, that goddamn Shawn Michaels reminds me of me when I was younger.
Oh God!
Did you do a lot of super kicks when you were young, Vince?
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know. But he's talking obviously about Shawn's attitude, his demeanor, that type of thing, Conrad. And the damn match got, you know, as Meltzer's ratings, it got 4 stars, and it could have been a 5-star match if some of that childish bullshit had not occurred.
By 1998, Vader would be reduced to the status of a jobber to the stars, and he quickly wanted out of WWE to return to Japan. Vader would make some one-off special appearances in WWE, but he would never again even reach the heights that he was once promised in WWE. Number 7.
That's just fucking terrible, bro. One little mistake, and that thing got an actual 4 stars, not actually kind of quoting that Dave Meltzer's, you know, stars are good, but like that match was probably damn good if you know, they could have just communicated again and Shawn Michaels wasn't such a baby.
Dean Ambrose. When a prominent wrestler leaves WWE, there's always a sense of belief that they will one day return, and about 95% of the time they do, but don't expect to see Dean Ambrose resurrected anytime soon. He absolutely hated his final year in the company, expressing his gripes with the creative process on Wife Renee Paquette's Oral Sessions podcast.
You know, one thing that I want to do, if I have something to prove, it's that I want to prove that your creative process, the WWE's creative process, sucks. It does not work. It's absolutely terrible. And I've said that to Vince. I've said that to Hunter. I've said that to Michael. Hey, I think that whatever, I can't even tell you how their system works. It's some kind of system of meetings that take place in Stanford, and there's a home team. There's writers and producers and production meetings, and nobody knows what's approved and what's not. And like the bureaucratic red tape you have to go through to get anything approved.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It doesn't work. It's killing the company. I think Vince is the problem.
His disconnect is understandable.
Hey, he low-key was right. In a way, he low-key was right. I mean, they're still making mistakes right now, but like, think of how more the company got more successful after like Vince McMahon left. Like in his later years, Vince McMahon was not what he is. But like the creative process, he kind of proved, Ambrose kind of proved it when he left, and you know, Tony Khan gave him a chance, and he literally kind of still is a bigger star today. He took a chance on himself and went to a different company, and they saw him as a bigger star.
Even though he had a 3-month reign with the WWE Championship and was part of one of the most successful stables in history, The Shield, it was clear that WWE absolutely didn't value him as a performer, or at the very least, they didn't value him as a performer he used to be. Under Vince McMahon's pen, he swapped barbed wire, glass, and garden streamers for being electrocuted by a television, dousing opponents in ketchup and mustard, and dressing up as the Mountie. His final months were astonishingly even worse, as he was scripted to mock the leukemia diagnosis of former Shield partner Roman Reigns. It was no wonder that he opted against renewing his contract with the company. Number 6, Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett should have been a home run for Vince McMahon to book. Tall, chiseled, and British, he was something of a throwback to the golden era, so it wasn't exactly a surprise that he was selected as the winner of NXT's first season. He subsequently led the Nexus, whose debut angle remains one of the greatest moments in Raw history, and whose continued beatdowns of the roster, as well as Vince McMahon himself, put the group in a good spot. The catch? They struck a John Cena-shaped iceberg at SummerSlam that single-handedly squandered any success they would have on the main roster.
To think what they had on their hands back in like the 2010s, like, could create new stars. They did create new stars, but like they created mid-carders. They could have had bigger stars on their hands, because like the 2010s were just kind of full of the same bullshit. But until, you know, CM Punk kind of got that shit kicked up and started. But like, you know, they could have created new stars and like new like villains and shit over the time, bro. But they couldn't do it, because like a lot of shit went down around this time. And Wade Barrett but Wade Barrett is just always like looked upon like what could have been, bro. Like it really sucks that he couldn't, you know, blossom into like a superstar he is.
Cena annihilated the group, despite backstage pushback from Edge and Chris Jericho, and back-to-back WWE title losses to Randy Orton did Wade no favors. A planned Money in the Bank win in 2011 was switched on the day to Daniel Bryan, one of his old Nexus running partners.
Damn.
No matter how many times he won the IC Championship, Barrett consistently failed to break the glass ceiling that was above his head. He departed WWE in 2016 and hasn't wrestled since, having openly discussed how he was miserable in his final few years, but he has returned to the company as a commentator, a role that he's transitioned into seamlessly. Number 5, Ryback. Comparisons to Goldberg really hampered Ryback's success in WWE, but frequent accusations of being an unsafe worker absolutely killed his career. Re-debuting on the SmackDown after WrestleMania 28, Ryback began working the squash match circuit, making light work of whichever job at WWE had hired for the week.
I'm not gonna cap. I mean, if multiple people are saying that you're hurting, I mean, you're like bad at your job, bro. Yeah, we're gonna like it's time to believe in something. But like if it's just like one person, people could skim over that. But like multiple people were saying that, like there's no getting by that. And he was talking about he was the safest worker. I can't believe that one bit.
Before he transitioned into obliterating WWE's in-house lower carders. It was the exact blueprint WCW had used for Goldberg, but unlike him, Ryback's push ended without a World Championship. He lost to CM Punk at Hell in a Cell 2012, which also ended his undefeated streak, while a 2013 feud versus John Cena also ended without the big guy becoming WWE Champion, despite him having allegedly been promised the title by Vince McMahon. As for him apparently being an unsafe worker, in 2014, the same year that Ryback concussed Dolph Ziggler following a stiff clothesline, he was brutally slammed by CM Punk during his infamous tell-all appearance on Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling podcast.
All right, I'll work Ryback. And I go up to Ryan and I go, hey man, clean slate. Let's kill this. Let's show them, you know, that you're better than they think you are. Let's show them that I'm better than they think I am, and let's turn this mid card shit into a main event. Yeah, I'm really excited. Great, blah blah blah. First night out, gorilla press through a table, misses the table,
Jesus.
dumps me on the concrete ground, tilts my fucking pelvis, me up for weeks.
So
Number 4, Mr. Kennedy.
Man.
The career of Mr. Kennedy will probably go down as one of the biggest what-ifs in wrestling history. One of the greatest talkers of his generation, Kennedy was also a good...
We already seen like multiple times of like Kennedy's career where he could have just been, you know, a good, a good like wrestler, but he was a good wrestler. What am I saying? But like, it just like a lot of shit got in the way, bro. I'm gonna try to skip over this because I already know what's up because I've seen this on multiple occasions already. But if you want to go see this, link's gonna be in the description. But like Kennedy was just in his own way, and that last part was kind of Randy Orton, kind of lying on his name right there. Because I seen the clip, he didn't slam him on his head.
Guerrero's name on a list such as this may sound strange, but it's true. He didn't really reach his full potential in WWE. Eddie's defining moment in the company was unquestionably his WWE Championship win at No Way Out 2004.
Yeah.
But not even this was a completely positive moment in his life. JBL, who ultimately dethroned Eddie for the title at the end of a bloodthirsty feud between the two, explained the pressure that Guerrero felt as a champion during an appearance on Bruce Pritchard's Something to Wrestle With podcast.
Yeah, Eddie felt it tough, and I wish Eddie got the title again because I think he'd have been fine with it. When he got it the first time, it was, you know, and I've seen this happen a lot with champions. You know, some people grow with the title, some people shrink with the title, some people become overwhelmed with the title. Eddie became a little bit overwhelmed with it, and I don't mean that from the ring work, but Eddie was always looking at ratings and looking at crowd size, and you know, it really, okay, well, the rating was down here. Maybe, is that my fault? And I would say, Eddie, you weren't even in the segment, so no, it wasn't your fault. You know, it really weighed on him.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that pressure from like an outside stance. I'm not a wrestler or anything, but or like famous or nothing. But like you know, that stuff can kind of get you because like you're the face of like WWE, and you know stuff like that can get to you, bro. So you go think every mishap and everything is your fault. I think you know people as a WWE champion, they're looked upon as like the leader, and like, you know, some people probably could blame that on you.
Champion. He knew the pressure of it. He took that pressure really tough. And I wish he had become champion again because he would have, I think he'd have been completely different. Now, that being said, none of it showed in his work. Absolutely zero of it ever showed in his work that he was cracking or anything else. But there was a lot of pressure you could tell that Eddie felt. And by what he talked about, you know, I said, hey, let's just do quality. Let's not worry about ratings. Let's not worry about crowds. And he go, well, we got to do this. We got to do that. You know, it really weighed on him.
Tragically, Eddie Guerrero passed away in November 2005 at the tender age
Eddie
of just 38
Guerrero.
years old. His career remains one of the most fondly discussed in history, even if there was still so much left on the table. Number 2, Muhammad Hassan. Muhammad Hassan was one of the most unnerving characters in WWE history, and none of it was really his fault. Played by Mark Copani, who is actually of Italian descent, he was cast as a wrestler of Jordanian-Palestinian descent who was set out in WWE to eradicate the prejudice placed upon Arab Americans following 9/11.
I blame Vince McMahon for this, bro. Although it came at the wrong time because, you know, the 9/11 attacks. I blame Vince McMahon always trying to get people over with the foreign gimmick. The foreign gimmick like worked in the past, probably like in the golden era a lot because like people really saw them as like heels. But like in this day and age, in like the certain specific time frame, it really kind of destroyed his career, and it really showed that it wasn't his fault.
Instantly reeked of political controversy, but things took a dark turn in July 2005 on an episode of SmackDown taped on July 4th. Hassan ordered a group of men wearing black ski masks who were ostensibly portrayed as terrorists to beat down The Undertaker and carry him out of the arena. The episode then aired on July 7th, the day of the London bombings. The segment aired unedited, and WWE even doubled down on it in the weeks that followed, despite pushback from UPN, which aired SmackDown in the US. As a result, Hassan was swiftly removed from television.
Wait, those are the London bombings, so it didn't have nothing to do with 9/11, so my bad on that. Correct myself.
When The Undertaker sent him crashing through the stage with their last ride at the Great American Bash, and he never appeared again before his September release. The worst part, he was reportedly scheduled to become the World Heavyweight Champion at SummerSlam. Instead, his legacy lives on as a controversial footnote. And number 1, Christian. It's hardly a secret that Vince McMahon absolutely hated Christian, but the level of contempt he held for Captain Charisma runs deeper than most realize, alongside forcing Todd Grisham to solemnly declare,
It's Christian!
When he returned in 2009, he allegedly wanted a blue dot over his face whenever he appeared on screen in 2005. Why exactly McMahon hated Christian so much is anyone's guess, though Jim Ross debated this on his Grill and JR podcast that his physique had a big part to play in it.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of...
What? Bro, okay. Worst, bro, there's a lot of fucking people on that roster back during that time that had like a worse physique than Christian, bro. Like, you talk about his face and everything. There's a lot of people that look worse than Christian. Like, Vince McMahon was just trying to point anything out. I think he just plain out just didn't like him. Well, he didn't like him, of course, by this. But like, he just tried to give an excuse for everything. Just say you don't like the guy. But like, you know, that he was over, actually. I mean, just because you don't like a guy, you can still make money together. I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon didn't like all guys, but why did he have to make an exception for Christian, though?
Absurd, because Christian deserved more time. He could help us. He could help. He could work with these guys that were less talented than him and make them look good. I think Vince's issue with Christian was Christian's physique. He's not a big guy. You know, he's always in great shape, but he's not a big guy. And Vince, you know, has these hard-ons for big guys, big teams more often than not.
Of the 2 times Christian went elsewhere after being miscast in WWE, he found great success. He became a main event star when he jumped to TNA in 2005.
Exactly.
He rejuvenated his career upon joining AEW in 2021, having been retired for 7 years, bar a one-off Royal Rumble return. But there you have it, folks.
Man, okay, on this list, I'm glad there's like half of these people that like kind of proved, you know, WWE's creative wrong and, you know, WWE in general wrong, that, you know, they can go somewhere else and, you know, just do way better than they are right now. Just because like you say like, oh, I have a ceiling, oh, I'm gonna go above that. I like that, bro. Especially I like that for Christian and Dean Ambrose, bro. Like, I really hate that. Like, I'm always gonna say it. I hate that Vince McMahon always got that particular person that he doesn't like, or he just like not feeling somebody, and then they over with the audience, and he just doesn't see like the deal in them, and he just tries to push so hard, he tries to push them into the ground. And other ones on here, this is just a lot of unfortunate ones because, you know, it's during the times of like kind of political stuff with the Muhammad Hassan stuff, and, you know, Mr. Kennedy getting in his way again. But like, let me know what you guys think of this video. Let me know what you guys think of like the people on this list. What do you guys think, man? But don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. We are on the road to 750, and also go check out the video in the description.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?